I clearly awakened an SSS rank talent, top 10 on the world leaderboard. Yet my father extracted my talent for 7 days and 7 nights, and expelled me from the family home. Even the 7 great martial arts academies blacklisted me as well. All because when I was in the profession selection room, through my hidden SSS rank talent, the heavenly eye, I saw projections of the future. I not only saw that in the future, after wuxia, a world-destroying beast would appear, and a world-destroying power, but also that no matter what profession I chose, I would die. And I would die precisely in the mouth of that monstrous beast. That monstrous beast was simply incomparably powerful. By then, the entire Xianxia would be destroyed by this monstrous beast. And only by choosing no profession, creating new professions and skills, could one resist this world-level monstrous beast. However, choosing no profession was destined to be a difficult path. Although one could create their own skills, only 0.001% of people could achieve it. However, the ultimate strength would also be the greatest. Moreover, I also possess 2 hidden SSG rank talents, Super Comprehension and Son of Fortune. At this moment, above the Plaza of Determination, everyone was shocked by my choice. Why? Why is this? Everyone wanted to ask this question, and Liu Ruyan had already taken the first step. Wang Mingfeng, are you out of your mind? Why did you choose no profession? At this moment, Liu Ruyan completely lacked her usual gentleness and nobility. Only deep anger remained. When I activated my SSS rank talent, her heart was already ecstatic, frantically shouting that she hadn't bet on the wrong person. These 2.5 years of youth were not wasted, because she was my fiancée. At this moment, I stood dumbfounded on the spot, feeling as if I had just realized that I had made an irreversible mistake. However, this was only what everyone thought. Only I knew how great the disaster would be in the future. Only by choosing no profession, creating new professions and skills, could one resist this world-destroying power. Just at this moment, class teacher Chen Ru looked at Liu Ruyan, who seemed to have awakened episode 1, with great distress. Liu Ruyan, are you still going to team up with Wang Mingfeng for your college entrance trial? At this moment, Liu Ruyan did not speak. Wang Teng, who was nearby, spoke up. Who would team up with an idiot? Aren't you afraid of being dragged down by his stupidity? And Wang Teng was precisely my companion, and also my younger cousin. I had originally thought that I had awakened the Susi talent, and he might live in that shadow his entire life. Moreover, the family would definitely favor me. Unexpectedly, I actually courted death myself, by choosing no profession. Wang Lingfeng, your engagement with Liu Ruyan should also be annulled. Having said that, Wang Teng struck while the iron was hot, and directly helped Liu Ruyan annul the engagement. At this moment, everyone looked towards me, wanting to see what my reaction would be. Because I had already been expelled from the Wang family, didn't want to lose Liu Ruyan, this powerful partner. I would definitely pester her. But the result was, Liu Ruyan said, I agree to annul the engagement. As for whether you agree or not, that's your business to do. So bluntly that it was as if she had shaken off a clingy pest. This made everyone very displeased. Especially, how could Liu Ruyan be like this? How could he agree? Ha ha ha! As expected of you! You really chose another wrong answer. Wang Teng's laughter made everyone understand. Perhaps it was because I had just chosen no profession. So what did this matter? At this moment, I also smiled, and my next words stunned everyone even more. Wang Teng, you originally had the potential of a great emperor, but alas, you lost your virginity. Your talent is crippled. What did you say? Wang Teng hadn't even gone up to awaken his talent. How can you say his talent is crippled? I know this is because you yourself are incompetent, and then you curse others. That's just too ridiculous. And at the same time, no one would believe I could actually predict it. Haha. My talent is crippled. Even if I get an FG tier talent, choosing the weakest profession would still make me stronger than you. Wang Teng scoffed. Then, he walked a few steps forward. Then he turned back and said, what's more, even if I'm terrible, I wouldn't be lower than B tier. My physical fitness test was level 1, My mental test was B tier. My practical combat test was also level 1. I even have a chance to aim for an S tier talent. Immediately after that, he went up. Wang Teng pressed his hand onto the awakening stele. A strong golden light, an S, appeared on the awakening stele. His talent, pure yang, flourishing body. All monk skills effects are increased by 20%. Optional professions: monk, warrior, assassin, mage. At this moment, everyone exclaimed once again, only to hear someone from the Wang family shout, "Choose monk." This talent is related to the profession. If he doesn't choose monk and go the monk route, then that would be a waste. Wang Teng then chose monk. And while he was at it, he also boosted his own reputation, saying some words to win people over. "Everyone, don't worry. I will definitely choose monk. I want to protect everyone. With great power comes great responsibility." Just then, one of Wang Teng's followers immediately started to egg on Liu Ruyan. Why not just get engaged to Wang Teng directly? That way, both families won't have to change in-laws. Haha. This is truly. From now on, everyone will still be family. The wife just becomes a sister-in-law. Amidst this jeering. In fact, everyone was looking forward to it right now. To see this grand show. Otherwise, how could it be satisfying? Wang Teng had the same idea. He wanted to thoroughly humiliate me on the spot and trample him underfoot. "Ruyan, I've actually always liked you. Let's team up for the college entrance exam and get into one of China's 7 great martial arts academies." Well, together. Liu Ruyan no longer hesitated and directly nodded in agreement. Immediately after, Wang Teng looked at me impudently, displaying an arrogant and smug expression. However, he still didn't see my expression of impotent rage. Just then, I laughed out loud again. This made Wang Teng's face darken. "Wang Mingfeng, what are you laughing at? Are you unhappy to see Ruyan doing well? Since you voluntarily canceled the engagement, you should also show some magnanimity and offer your blessings. I never realized you were so petty. Bless you, too. For what? You'll break up very soon. Ha ha ha, you're just jealous." Just now, someone said Wang Teng's talent was crippled. So, an S rank is also considered crippled. Seeing this, I smiled calmly. "Don't you want to first understand what the pure yang flourishing physique is?" The pure yang flourishing physique. I've never seemed to have heard of this talent before. Go check the talent data in the professional system. Find this talent. The next moment, everyone's gaze towards Wang Teng became a little off. Pure yang flourishing physique. Virgin state. Monk skill effects increased by 100%. Or, profound effects reduced by 50%. Thereafter, each time one loses their virginity, the purity of the pure yang flourishing physique decreases. It can be restored to 50% through ascetic cultivation and abstinence. During the recovery phase, one must not lose their virginity. Otherwise, all previous efforts will be wasted. At 100% purity, it can rival SS rank. 40% to 50% is S rank. 25% to 39% is A rank. Down to 24% is B rank. Currently, it is B rank. I was wondering why the S rank talent bonus was so low. How old is Wang Teng to have gone from 50% down to 20%? So he's been indulging in nightly pleasures. It's pitiful that it takes 30 years to recover just 1%. Then won't Liu Ruyan have to stay a living widow for 30 years? No wonder Wang Mingfeng said they'd break up. The crowd's discussions, at this point, compared to their earlier enthusiastic anticipation for Wang Teng, had vanished. At this moment, Wang Teng only felt as if had been doused with a basin of ice water. The feeling of dropping from S rank to B rank was undoubtedly like going from Mount Tai to a back hill. At the same time, the Wang family members' faces were as dark as could be. Originally, their Wang family should have had 2 soaring geniuses, but now one chose no profession, and the other, despite having talent, was no longer pure. Today, the Wang family was destined to become a joke. Staying here would only bring disgrace. So they all left. The Liu family and Liu Ruyan were left in an awkward position. What was this? They had just jumped out of one pit, only to fall into another. Wang Teng, who indeed had not left, angrily roared at me. Wang Lingfeng, what are you so proud of? Even if I'm B grade now, my talent is still stronger than yours. I still have a chance to return to S grade. But you will always be trash. You won't even have a partner. After saying this, Wang Teng was pushed into a luxury car by his father, and the last words Wang Teng left behind were actually meant for others to hear. If you team up with me, that means offending him. I, on the other hand, said calmly, don't worry. My partner will appear soon, and will be stronger than all of you. Just then, a small, thin male classmate stepped forward. Instead of being alone, why don't you team up? I'll join, as long as you don't mind. I'm just an F-grade nobody. Everyone was a bit surprised at this. This nobody classmate had always been an outsider. How dared he offend Wang Teng? Immediately after, I glanced at the nobody. I said sternly, mind you, if you are truly sincere about teaming up with me. At this moment, everyone's expression when looking at me made it clear they thought I was truly beyond saving. At a time like this, he was still being picky. He must be crazy, right? The nobody was stunned for a moment. He clearly hadn't expected me to refuse so bluntly. He was very puzzled in his heart. Why would Wang Lingfeng know about this? He had just received instructions from Wang Teng. Wang Teng wanted to use this F-grade nobody to humiliate me. But my refusal. Immediately, the people on the scene began to accuse him, this Wang Lingfeng. To put it in one sentence, his ambition was higher than the sky, but his fate was thinner than paper. I, however, was too lazy to explain. I merely waited for my partner to appear. I believed there would be one, and not just one. In the next lesson, a stunningly beautiful figure appeared. Student Wang Lingfeng. Can I team up with you? How could it be her? How could she look for Wang Lingfeng? This is impossible. Huang Fu Haitang. A rare surname, like Huang Fu Haitang, to be able to be passed down, usually belongs to a capable, prominent clan. But because her father's generation was driven out by the family, coupled with her parents successively getting injured and sick, their life was already becoming unsustainable. Moreover, the special talent she awakened, sword control art, was also a valuable asset. Seeing this, I smiled and nodded. Huang Fu Haitang was exactly who I was waiting for, because only I knew how powerful sword control art truly was. And after seeing me agree, everyone was stunned. Then they started laughing heartily. One with no profession, one with sword control art. It's really great that you two good-for-nothings are together. You won't drag anyone else down either. Are you two serious? You'd better think this through carefully. If you two leave the city, you probably won't survive more than 3 days, and you'll have to survive in the wilderness for 3 months. Although there are shelters outside, it's still very dangerous. Chenru appeared once again. Seriously, she said to me. Can I join you? That way, if we die together, at least we'll have company. This was a thin, weak girl who stepped forward and said timidly, yes. I nodded directly, without even asking about her talent. As expected, she had no intention of surviving. They've given up, was the thought in everyone's mind. Are we still waiting? Huang Fu Haitang asked. He now suspected he might have gambled wrong again, but now that things were like this, teaming up was always better than going alone. No need. The person has already arrived. My words made Miss Liang think I couldn't wait any longer. But the words that followed made them understand that wasn't the case. Another frail-looking girl appeared, even frailer than the one before. Her clothes were even a bit worn out. She didn't look like someone from Linhai Middle School. Great. You're still here. Can I join? Yes. We're all here. Well, leave the city tomorrow at 8 a.m. Bring all your belongings. I nodded directly and we started exchanging contact information. Once the time was set, I left. After leaving school, I just went to the hospital where my mother, Xie Bingbing, was. Looking at Xie Bingbing's pale and weak face, I immediately used my heavenly eye to see some of her future. Then she saw many illusory figures appearing before her. Qing Qing told me about your situation. How will you choose? No. Profession. Xie Bingbing immediately said worriedly when she saw me. Mom, trust me. I will become the strongest man on the surface, and I will also cure your illness. Gu Qing Qing is my neighbor. The little girl is 10 years old this year. Xie Bingbing had taken her in as a daughter. She would occasionally come to the hospital to visit. And now, two problems needed to be solved. The first was my mother's medical expenses. Xie Bingbing would soon face a crisis. The money consumed was like swallowing gold. It would be best to earn another 1 million within 3 months. And also, I needed to find some materials to create a kind of potion. The second problem was to find a dog. I needed to try if I could comprehend skills. I could start with beast-taming skills first. I'm not aiming for anything like advanced summoning. Even training a hunting dog would be good. Wang Lingfeng? I didn't expect to meet an acquaintance in the hospital. And this acquaintance was none other than, it was his own teammate, Huang Fu. Kuehua. Huang Fu. Classmate. Why are you here too? Mom is here too. I immediately thought of it. I had long heard that Huang Fu Haitang's mother was also ill. I didn't expect to find her here. And even in the same ward. I've already seen Huang Fu Haitang's mother, right next to Xie Binbin's bed. Both of them were quite surprised that their children were actually classmates. So, the mothers of both sides quickly started chatting, beginning to talk about their children's past, leaving the two of us standing by, ignored, especially Huang Fu Haitang. Was very embarrassed. You'd best not treat your mother's illness. At this moment, I suddenly said to Huang Fu Haitang. My voice was quite loud. At the same time, I glanced at the group of people who had just entered the ward. The leader was an old doctor. He carried a kind of sacred aura. Beside him was a group of doctors and nurses heard my words. They were all a bit puzzled. Huang Fu Haitang's face darkened slightly, looked at me coldly. It was obvious. He thought I was telling him to give up on his mother. You don't need to meddle in my affairs. Hearing his words filled with anger. How could I not understand that the other party had misunderstood? I explained myself. What I mean is, your mother wasn't sick to begin with. Her illness was caused by the hospital's treatment. The more you treat it here, the more severe the condition will become. I glanced, intentionally or unintentionally, at the old doctor and his group behind me. What? Huang Fu Haitang was stunned. He tried to analyze my words again. These words were worth pondering. Are you saying we are incompetent doctors? That there's no one competent here? The old doctor glared at me, looking furious. Incompetent doctors wouldn't possess such formidable means. I shook my head, looking very serious. This made everyone around feel uneasy. You're pointing at a monk and calling him a bald donkey. Are you saying this was specifically caused by this old man? The old doctor's expression was very displeased. The people around him also immediately displayed their imposing aura. None of these people are particularly weak. They are all at least second tier. Unlike you. But they are also people from your hospital. You should investigate carefully. Especially look into a woman in her 40s. Her profession should be a cleric. But she can use disease-related skills. And her most distinctive feature is a plump face and large ears. As I was saying the former part, everyone was still wondering who it could be. But upon hearing the last 4 words, they immediately thought of someone. It's Dong Yishi. After their initial exclamations, everyone exchanged glances. It can't be Dong Yishi. Back when we were in such dire straits, it was Dong Yishi who stepped in to help, and she often checked in on us and offered assistance. At this, Haitang and her mother immediately shook their heads in denial. In their eyes, Dong Yishi was a savior. Haitang too was skeptical of my words, and she even questioned, what exactly is your motive? Why are you trying to frame Dong Yishi? At this moment, the old doctor also glared at me and said, if you continue to spout nonsense, your mother's illness will require you to seek another expert. You wouldn't refuse, would you? My mother's illness? I'm entrusting to you. I will return in 3 months. My words left everyone present somewhat dumbfounded. Are you being overly arrogant? Just as the old doctor was about to erupt in anger, a disciple beside him whispered something in his ear. This caused his expression to change slightly. He glanced at me. Then a light appeared in his hand, enveloping Haitang's mother's body. His brow furrowed deeper and deeper. Send her to the operating room. Doctor, what's wrong with my mother? This made Haitang extremely anxious. Everyone at this point felt that the illness had been discovered. And at this moment, the old doctor didn't lie either. He only observed for an afternoon, and then hastily departed from the imperial mansion. Haitang naturally followed him out. As for me, I had already been kicked out by the Wang family, so I might as well make do here for now. Tomorrow at dawn, I'll meet up with my teammates and depart directly. Time quickly passed. Around 2 a.m., Haitang and her mother returned. At this moment, Haitang's mother looked much better than before. After Haitang had taken good care of her mother, she watched for an entire afternoon, watching me meditate and rest. She also meditated beside me. At 5 a.m., I exhaled. I immediately felt refreshed and invigorated. I was ready to leave, to find any stray dog on the street, and just at this moment, Haitang's pleasant, yet shy voice rang out. Wang Lingfeng, where are you going so early? Listening to the tone of her voice, it seemed she was trying to be friendly with me, rather than blaming me for catching a dog to be a hunting dog. Even many dogs simply stand there. You don't need to thank me for a small favor. I waved my hand and left directly, leaving Haitang a bit bewildered. What dogs? How did you know what I was going to say? Soon, she chased after me. Where is he? How did he disappear in the blink of an eye? Haitang of the imperial residence. After chasing out, she could no longer see me. At this moment, I followed my intuition, walking, and arrived under the bridge arch next to the hospital. There, I found a litter of puppies in a pile of grass. It's truly like whatever I want, I get. Here, there was actually a litter of small, native dogs, and they were all pure black. Since I was raising dogs to level up skills, and if the number was a bit higher, wouldn't that mean the skill would grow more? Let's practice first. So I immediately started training the dogs, preparing to spend some time to comprehend the skill. For this purpose, I also got some snacks, like sausages, to aid in the training. I planned to slowly train here for 3 hours, and then go to school for assembly. I wasn't expecting these 2 hours would be enough to comprehend the beast taming skill. Staying by their side, always using the 0.001% chance, wouldn't that be using it 100,000 times? In one day, I could use it 10,000 times. An hour later, the dogs could already completely follow some simple commands. 2.5 hours later, ding! Comprehended dog training skill. Dog training skill LV allows one to train canines for personal use and enables canines to learn simple commands. No additional bonuses. I didn't expect to comprehend the skill in just 2.5 hours. At this moment, I was truly surprised. I had originally thought that if I were lucky, it would still take a few days to learn it. If unlucky, it would take 10 days to half a month, or even longer. Yet now, it only took 2.5 hours. Could it be due to the hidden talent? Son of Fortune. Soon, I saw beyond the terrifying power of the super comprehension talent. The dog training skill I had just comprehended. After I practiced it a few times casually, its skill proficiency increased at a crazy rate. In just half an hour on the road, dog training skill had already upgraded from LV1 to LV8. Although the skill description hadn't changed, I felt that giving commands had become much simpler, and judging by the dog's cooperation, it seemed to have matured considerably. If I were to raise this dog a bit bigger, to hunt some low-level beasts, it would be relatively simple. Linhai Middle School. Today was the first day after the third-year high school students awakened. Many third-year high school students would return to school to collect their wristbands. These wristbands were a type of recorder, recording the exotic beasts killed. Some exotic beasts would yield higher points. These points were not just a part of the college entrance exam, but also a contribution to the city. One could exchange points for various items. The wristband also had another function. It could tell your life and death status. In an emergency, it could be used to call for help. If one died, it could also be used to retrieve the body. At this moment, Wang Teng and Lu Ruyan appeared, instantly attracting everyone's attention. Although Wang Teng was crippled after losing his virginity, he still possessed great potential. Among the current batch of third-year students at Linhai Middle School, he was also considered a prodigy. Wang Teng greatly enjoyed this feeling. This should have belonged to me anyway. Wang Lingfeng was never worthy of that sword seed. But the next moment, I appeared, and instantly stole his thunder. Not because of anything else, but it was because I was walking in front. 8 little dogs, strutting proudly, lined up spiritedly behind me, taking small steps, forming a straight line. And the little dog's distance is a strictly defined ruin. Haha, isn't that Wang Lingfeng? That good for nothing? How come he's followed by a pack of little dogs? Doesn't he have any lackeys to make up the numbers? Wang Lingfeng is here. He's here with his 8 dogs. He's walking in front, while his dogs are lining up and following. At this moment, however, I didn't notice any of this. I just walked towards the sports field. There were staff members there to register wristbands. Upon arrival, I tapped my phone against the wristband. The information then appeared on my phone. I started filling it out. Then the staff member checked it, confirmed it was correct, and activated the wristband. After putting it on, some fine needles would appear on the wristband. These needles would prick into the hand and collect personal blood. At the same time, it would also connect the wristband to the person's nerves. Then the wristband seemed to integrate into the body. It was embedded in the skin. There was no discomfort felt at all. No one would worry that this would cause problems, because almost everyone worldwide wears such wristbands. They are basically worn for a lifetime. This wristband can monitor body data. It's also an assistant, providing some smart wristband functions. Its functions are even richer than Wang Mingfeng's phone in his previous life. With this, there's no need to even carry a phone. After all, a phone would be a burden in the wilderness. This wristband actually mainly complements the professional system, can be considered a kind of poor performance. With this wristband, one can also achieve internal text chat, query exotic beasts, and some functions for recording exotic beasts. At this moment, Wang Lingfeng transferred the phone's data to the wristband. Soon, a dialog box appeared before his eyes, just like a virtual projection in the air. You all saw Wang Lingfeng, right? That's really too funny. I saw that he registered for the Gaokao. It seems he's really not giving up. He really did sign up, huh? What about the 3 good-for-nothings who follow him? They all signed up, saying they're going to die anyway. Might as well set their goals a bit higher. They even signed up for the 7 great martial schools. If it were me, it'd do the same. They formed a team with no intention of returning. How pitiful. This is the school's group chat. And the class group chat also appeared. Wang Teng's minions were also frantically mocking my team. At the same time, the teammates also had Wang Lingfeng form a team, get on the bus, and leave school early. They still arranged for a large bus to take people out of the city, sent to a shelter outside. Wang Lingfeng, thank you for yesterday's matter. Huangfu Haitang, at this moment, was wearing a dark, gray, tight-fitting combat suit, which accentuated his figure. Truly, a physique of the highest caliber. The 2 teammates next to him also wore the same combat suits. Everyone has one of these. Every year, senior high school students get them when they go out of the city for training. It's said to be issued by the city lord's mansion. The combat suit's exterior looks somewhat like leather. It uses extremely tough fibers. It can defend against certain attacks. At the same time, it won't hinder movement. Not just the combat suits. The city lord's mansion also provides weapons. I chose a shield and a sword, and I also picked a gun. A handgun. At the same time, everyone can take 3 high-explosive bombs. Of course, these are provided free of charge by the city lord's mansion. You can bring as many as you want yourself. However, these items are only useful in the early stages. For anything above level 10, pure bullets and high-explosive bombs also require the power of a job changer to be injected to cause damage. At this moment, I looked at the team also wearing tight-fitting suits. Lu Xiangyun was even thinner. But Ning Meng, despite her small, thin body, surprisingly, has F-grade potential. You really can't tell. I also changed into a tight-fitting suit. It immediately highlighted my slender figure and a slight muscular definition. Very well proportioned. Possesses aesthetic beauty. You're welcome. In the wilderness, well still, need to look out for each other. You just need to take care of me a bit more, I said to Haitang. Then I prepared to get in the car, but I was blocked by someone. The one who blocked Wang Lingfeng was none other than Wang Teng's lackey. His nickname was Wang Ergu, but his real name wasn't clear. Wang Lingfeng, what do you take this place for? Even if we give you face and let you ride in the same car as us, How can you still bring your dogs along? Wang Ergu was already planning to make things difficult for me, to show his loyalty. Seeing me bring dogs into the car, he immediately seized the opportunity to make a fuss. They are my battle pets, I said. Knowing the global convention, battle pets are allowed to accompany their masters everywhere. At this moment, through the car window, I also saw a white snake coiled on a seat. This is also a battle pet. Haha. Where would an unclassed person like you get battle pets? Do you have this skill? Is it possible? And can these little dogs of yours even fight? Wang Ergu immediately laughed. I've never heard of an unclassed person having battle pets. Battle pets are only for pet class professions, nor have I heard of any basic skill that can control battle pets. Ergu, don't say that. He has an SSS grade talent, you know. Although he's unclassed, he can create his own skills. Maybe he created it just like that. At this moment, another lackey named Li Qiang spoke up from the side, and with his humor, he made all the students and himself laugh. Everyone didn't believe what skills I could comprehend in such a short time. If that were the case, then even an unclassed person wouldn't be considered a waste. Isn't an unclassed person considered a waste because they lack skills? That's why they're called useless. Basic skills are very, very few. They are just basic defensive techniques and basic offensive techniques. Basic meditation technique. These few basic, profound techniques, the bonus effects of these skills are very low. Basic attack count and basic interval. Compared to basic boxing techniques, the attack bonus effect is less than half, and the latter is to change profession to the basic skills of other professions. When they first meet or throw a punch, other attached effects will have attack bonuses, not counting learning new active skills. No wonder the jobless are treated with such contempt. However, I am an SSS grade super prodigy. In the early stages, these basic skills level up quickly. The effects can naturally catch up. Since that's the case, how about we have a match? I'll use 8 little puppies to fight you. If you lose, give me the skill book on you. I smiled and looked at Wang Ergu, saying, at this moment, Wang Ergu was stunned. How did you know I had a skill book on me? Also, are you kidding me? These 8 puppies want to win against me? No matter what, I have Earth grade talent. A high school senior who has been cultivating since childhood. 12 years of compulsory cultivation. You say I'll lose to 8 little dogs? Is this thing humiliating me? What? Don't you dare? My words instantly made Wang Ergu furious. What's being live-streamed in the group chat? Is Wang Ergu fighting puppies? Damn. Is he performing a dog-eat-dog show? Soon, a live stream appeared in the Lin Hai Middle School group chat. Seeing Wang Ergu's duel with 8 puppies being live-streamed. At this point, the 8 little puppies looked fierce yet adorable. I can't take it. How can they be so cute? I'll get a puppy too someday. A group of girls successively made similar comments. They didn't care what Wang Ergu was up to. However, someone quickly clarified the situation, letting everyone know. It turned out that Wang Ergu and I had a conflict. I was having 8 puppies fight Wang Ergu. Everyone who knew the situation thought I was either crazy or he simply didn't care about these dogs. At this moment, he angrily drew his short sword. Then, in his other hand, he conjured a fireball. He hurled a fireball at those dogs. But the dogs seemed to predict the future. They knew where he would throw it. The nearby dogs had already scattered. He decided to disregard the coincidence. First, he would hack one to death. Wang Ergu directly slashed with his sword. The fireball spell, at the beginning, was actually not as effective as a normal attack, because the fireball spell required channeling time. So, the melee combat style isn't one that is truly effective. If it weren't for this being a show of contempt, Wang Ergu would probably have pulled out a gun, and as he slashed, the dogs also seemed to have anticipated his attack. They scattered in all directions, then suddenly attacked and bit. On Wang Ergu's feet, several small, black, furry lumps had already appeared. All the dogs were biting his feet. Because he was wearing combat gear, and everyone had trained for 12 years, it wasn't very thick. Wang Ergu wanted to shake them off immediately, but at that moment, the dogs did something that left everyone dumbfounded. At this moment, 3 small dogs dashed in a straight line. The last one jumped into the middle, onto that one's back, then leaped up, and the one in front also jumped up instantly, while the last one had not yet landed. They provided a springboard for it. Then that small dog flew directly towards a spot. That was Wang Ergu's groin area. The small dog violently crashed into him, making Wang Ergu instantly leap up. Wang Ergu was in so much pain that tears streamed from his eyes. Mutual aid for the subordinate party. His pained expression made everyone feel a sympathetic ache. "Ill, slaughter you all." Wang Ergu swung his sword. However, he had just raised his arm when he felt his lower body being struck again. That was the concerted effort of several other small black dogs. It must be said, the small black dog's timing was extremely precise, and it was also at an angle Wang Ergu couldn't see. Wang Ergu's injuries were compounded this time. He writhed on the ground, clutching his crotch. Upon seeing this outcome, everyone looked utterly bewildered. So, did the little black dog win? Damn. This Wang Ergu is even worse than a dog. And now, everyone had a doubt in their minds. Is it true that I only need to be clever to learn the skill of pre-sale power? This cooperation from Little Black. If there wasn't any pre-sale ability, it would be impossible to achieve. At the very least, it's a beast-taming skill. Also, the power that Little Black just unleashed didn't really match its size. This must be due to my skill enhancement. You've learned the pre-sale skill. Li Qiang pointed at me, utterly shocked. If this is the pre-sale skill, then it'll be on the rise. Because pre-sale only requires this one skill. Other skills aren't important, and my super comprehension ability can make the pre-sale skill level very high. Even if I can't change classes, it'd still be very formidable. Just relying on this pre-sale skill, I can become a powerhouse in the early game. Even without a second class, as long as my leveling speed is fast, I can match a second class before level 60. B rank, or even A rank, is not the pre-sale skill. This is just dog training. It can only tame canines. I shook my head and said straightforwardly. The people around me booed at this, all saying they had hoped in vain. I didn't care about any of that. I walked straight over and took the skill book from Wang Ergu's arms, just in case Wang Ergu tried to renege. Sure enough, when Wang Ergu woke up, he tried to renege, but the book was already in my hands, and I also had the upper hand in public opinion. He had no choice. He just kept staring at me. His gaze seemed to say, "Once we're outside, I'll kill you, Ling Feng. If you provoke him like this, he definitely won't let you off. You might as well just return it to him. Anyway, a lady can't even use this skill," Lemon said somewhat weakly. He had just made eye contact with Wang Ergu a few times. Those menacing eyes frightened him. "You can't use it now, that's all. So don't be afraid. You're already prepared to die with us." "What can he do?" I replied indifferently. By this time, the bus had already gotten onto the elevated road. I also saw the towering structure standing in the distance. This was the city wall, defending against the invasion of mutated beasts. It was also where countless warriors had sacrificed their lives over a millennium and spilled their blood. A heroic monument. Every time he saw this high wall, Wang Lingfeng would feel a surge of passion. Although everyone still struggles to survive in the apocalypse now, compared to the past, it's already a paradise. After that, no one spoke. For the rest of the journey. No. Cons. No. Because everyone was very nervous. This was their first time going out into the wild. They had to survive in the wilderness for 3 months. Whether they could survive depended either on luck or on their strength. It was obvious that most of the people in this bus belonged to the former category. Even if some people only felt 80% sure they wouldn't die, wasn't there still that 20% chance? Soon, the bus arrived beneath the city wall, at a passage that only allowed one bus to pass through at a time. Such a passage. Mutated beasts that could enter wouldn't be particularly large. Furthermore, considering the mechanisms and traps within the passage, defense was relatively easy. After exiting, I saw a huge mutated beast corpse not far away. Its skeletal remains were a full 10 stories high. One can imagine how enormous it was when it was alive. Even at this moment, those skeletal remains still exuded a chilling aura. Do you see? That is the Frost Dragon, a level 100 boss. That almost wiped out Lin Hai back then. Back then, Our ancestors paid with the lives of thousands of people just to slay it. My Huangfu family's forebears were fortunate enough to participate in this battle. Several ancestors perished there. At this moment, Huangfu Kuihua suddenly spoke. At the same time, he was also sighing. Although this frost dragon was already very terrifying, and the world-destroying one I had foreseen, and a move, it was like a grunt meeting a demon king. They were not on the same level at all. He still needed to work harder. While my team was chatting, Wang Erga's team was also chatting. Brothers, it's settled then. Once we receive the mission, well, help me get revenge and kill Wang Lingfeng. 10,000 yuan for each person. It'll cover a month of all-inclusive club services. Brother Gu is truly generous. Don't worry. I've long found Wang Lingfeng an eyesore. These past few years, he's always done better than me in every test. Brother Gu, my reason is more straightforward. I just like to torment geniuses. Who told him to give us all this opportunity? Outpost no. 22 only had one entrance on the ground, hidden within an earthen mound. The plants on it were already quite lush. As for the entrance, it was a passage made entirely of thick, reinforced concrete, and there were 3 defensive doors. After passing through the 3 doors, one could take an elevator to the first floor. That was a large hall. The hall connected to various passages and rooms. Inside, it looks very much like a style of indifference. All of them were mechanized facilities. This was the destination of my bus this time, while other buses were heading to other outposts, including other senior high students from Linhai City. 1 bus per outpost, because an outpost couldn't accommodate many people. Accommodating about 30 people was almost the limit. Everyone understood this point. So Wang Teng and I, and Liu Ruyan, would not meet. And because of this, Wang Teng could only send Wang Ergu and others to attack me. And it wasn't limited to Wang Ergu's group alone. I saw this clearly. I could feel it, even without using my heavenly eye. Besides Wang Ergu's group, there were at least 2 other groups with killing intent towards me. A total of 7 teams. Now, there are 3 groups wanting to kill him, and the remaining groups could be tempted by benefits at any time. I feel like my team is in a really difficult situation. Should I tell Huangfu Kuihua and the other 2 that because of me, your chances of dying have increased? Never mind. So, as not to scare them, it's better not to let them know. First, choose a mission, then rest up here for a bit, and then, well, have to depart. At this time, if you have power and influence, you can ask the guards here for help, or you can have them hire escorts. If that doesn't work, you can find someone to help. To get yourself a mission near Shaozan. That way would also be relatively safe. It's just that my team is full of powerless, penniless nobodies. Therefore, the mission assigned to us is the most dangerous. The mission is to the place furthest from Shaozan. Recently, Shaozan has been short of a material called Changye Langya. This can only be found in the mountains and forests to the east. The coordinates and requirements have already been sent to you. Go and get it. After completing the mission, you can rest for a day in Shaozhan. This is a sentinel captain who gave the 4 of us this mission. It's also the beginning of the 4's training. The 4 of us are all checking our systems. In the mission plugin provided by the wristband, all the details of this mission have been listed. The 4 of us have already started chatting internally, mainly cursing the sentinel captain from just now. And so, the 4 of them grumbled and left. Finally, they arrived in the main hall, ready to leave the outpost. And at this moment, they heard a sarcastic voice. Oh, my. Isn't this our SSS rank genius? Wang Lingfeng, I hear you took on the Changye Lang mission. Those Changye Lang are all level 8 and above. We can't defeat them, but you certainly can. Li Qiang, how can you underestimate yourself like that? You just need to train to level 10. Level 10? I'm only at level. The extra energy bonus from the Shai Beast is only 10%. To reach level 10, I need another 20 days. 20 days? If I don't have supplies, isn't surviving in the wild a bit difficult? Not just a bit. It's very difficult. Luckily, we're just taking out a few nearby. Yeah, luckily, I'm not F-class. Then, there'd be no extra bonus at all. Wang Erga's team appeared. Along with them was another team. The style of these 2 teams was very similar. They all seemed like those yellow-haired, non-mainstream hooligans. These 8 people mocked my team, and they even followed the 4 of us. Some busybodies even posted it in the group chat to livestream. How about we make a bet? Wang Lingfeng's team won't make it even a kilometer. That's for sure. The exotic beasts outside, they certainly won't match their level. Level 1. Exotic beasts are very rare. They are usually level 3 to 5. If their team encounters a level 3 exotic beast, they'll feel very strained. The 4 of us, under everyone's gaze, arrived outside Xiaozhan. Many people were watching the show unfold, and they all thought that the 4 of us probably wouldn't be able to complete the first kill. In their perception, almost none of my 4 team members had useful skills. Their combat power was equivalent to that of ordinary people. That their combat power wasn't strong was undeniable, unless they find level 1 exotic beasts. But in fact, level 1 exotic beasts are very rare. Finding level 1 exotic beasts is simply like winning the lottery. Because level 1 exotic beasts outside either level up quickly, or they've already been killed by other exotic beasts. Wang Mingfeng. What should we do? Haitang sent a voice message within the team. This voice communication didn't require him to speak aloud. He only needed to think, and he could speak. It could also be converted into text. The 3 of you, follow me from a distance. When we encounter exotic beasts. Haitang, when you encounter an attack, don't get close. Ningmeng, use thorn bush on me. Luxiangyun, use traps from the back. I replied. Actually, he had already told them what the 3 of them should do. He went up alone to hold them off. The 3 of them can just stay behind. I told Huangfu Haitang not to engage. Just engage from afar. Do it this way from now on. Lemon. Naturally. He can already use Thorn Tree now. This is still due to his talent. If he could learn Spring Revival Tree, that would be great. But with his F-grade talent, he'd probably need to reach level 5 to comprehend Spring Revival Tree. As for Luxiangyun, I told her to give up using spells, and just use traps instead. Master the use of traps first, then we'll discuss further. Right now, her spell usage is worse than just directly using a beast trap. Also, landmines and similar devices are all considered traps. The 3 of them had no objections to what I said. They all obediently went to do it, because if anyone voiced an objection, then that person would be in charge of arrangements. They completely lacked that ability. Only Lemon said something. Are we going to put up a fight? If we can't struggle through, then just calmly accept death. Of course, life is full of surprises. If you don't push yourself a little, you'll never know how capable you truly are. This was my response. I walked in one direction, and in this direction, let alone those who went missing, even others don't have missions in this direction. This is a very perilous place. The tasks Xiaozhan assigned all had a high chance of completion. They wouldn't completely send people to their deaths. Even this task of mine. My team also has about a 30% chance of completion. Isn't that a high chance? The advantage is with me. But if I take this path, then it's almost certain death. Did they abandon us? Should we follow, or not? Why follow? They want to die, but we don't. How about I send my drone to follow and take a look? It's better if we don't go ourselves. If they go out of range, then don't worry about them anymore. Wang Ergu and the others didn't continue following me. They thought the 4 of us were just going to our deaths. I wasn't that pampered, and sent a drone over. They just wanted to see the gruesome deaths of us 4. I believe everyone wants to see how those with the blue Death Note talent died, and how this suicide squad would suffer. This is excellent negative teaching material. All right. Everyone just wanted to see my pathetic state before death. That would give them great satisfaction. However, what they didn't expect was, when I entered the dangerous zone, the first strange beast I encountered was surprisingly not some powerful strange beast. It was a level 1 strange beast. Level 1 strange beasts are usually quite rare. I didn't expect several of them to appear here. They looked like they were from the same litter. This beast is called the forest wildhound, a very common type of strange beast. Canine strange beasts are actually the strange beasts everyone is most willing to encounter, because most canines only bite. Their claws are practically useless. They only bite with their mouths. In the early stages, canine, strange, beasts, attacks are the most basic. They also lack agility. They are one of the easiest strange beasts to kill. Of course, provided they are solitary. Generally, canines appear in groups. Perhaps it's because they know their weaknesses, so they need to cooperate as a group. Right now, before my eyes, is a solitary canine strange beast, and it's level 1. It's practically giving away energy points. Damn it. Damn it. How can Wang Lingfeng have such dog shit luck? Wang Teng, Wang Ergu, and others all muttered inwardly. As long as I kill these few strange beasts, I should be able to level up smoothly. After all, he is SSS rank, with an additional energy value bonus of over 80%. Now, it's too late for Wang Ergu and the others to go and steal the monster. I believe even if the 4 of us are utterly useless and incompetent, we can still quickly harvest these few creatures. There's still hope. Because the 4 of us didn't bring a drone, this kind of reconnaissance equipment. He doesn't know how many other level 1 strange beasts are nearby. Wang Ergu's team started moving towards me. And just as they moved, my team's combat approach was also revealed to everyone. This fighting style left everyone dumbfounded. Not surprised by our team's composition, nor by our speed in killing monsters. Quite the opposite. What surprised them was that our 4-person team was too slow at killing monsters, and our coordination was utterly laughable. Everyone saw me charging forward alone, repeatedly blocking the wild dog's attacks with my shield, and dealing damage to the wild dog with my short sword. But the damage didn't seem very high, and I was often knocked back, because my defensive skills were still very weak. However, my situation was still somewhat normal. After all, for an unclassed character at the start, being able to tank attacks without taking damage was considered acceptable. But the 3 girls behind me were completely unqualified. They were all surprisingly attacking from the back with ranged attacks, or providing support. Some even just placed a single trap at the back. What in the world? Are those 3 idiots? At this point, one should just go up and slash them with a sword. A normal attack would kill them in less than 2 minutes. Yes. At this point, one of them was using jade sword art. Another had just deployed a thorn tree, while the last one was just like some hunters who knew how to set traps, but the enemy simply wouldn't come near them, wasting time and energy for nothing. With their coordination, they'd have to fight for 10 minutes, and Wang Lingfeng would get injured for no reason. The teachers and students from Linhai Middle School who witnessed this scene were all complaining about this. Chen Ru even went to ask Lemon and Lu Xiang's teachers, "Have your students never taken practical combat classes?" The 2 girls' teachers said it shouldn't be so. Although our students weren't gifted, their minds were perfectly normal. But ultimately, they just wanted to distance themselves from these 2 students, because our 4-person team continued like this, and maintained this until the very end. It was only after 15 minutes of fighting that they finally dealt with the exotic beast. Second Master and the 3 girls hugged each other in celebration. This was the first aberrant beast they had killed. They were very excited, and it also brought them a considerable amount of confidence. This beast wasn't that hard to kill. Maybe our squad can still be salvaged. If all aberrant beasts were like this, we could level up after killing just a few. Early on, gaining a level brings a significant boost in strength. However, they didn't know that the performance of the 3 of them was currently being discussed by the entire school's faculty and students. 4 people fought for 15 minutes? Are they kidding me? Even a good-for-nothing with no skills at all wouldn't be this bad. And this was just a damn level 1 canine, aberrant beast, right? Isn't this too ridiculous? This useless group is truly too useless. Such a good opportunity was given to them, yet they fought like this. Too weak. It's truly unbearable to watch. Wang Lingfeng had been dealt a perfect starting hand, yet he played it like this. How great would it be if I had that hand? Everyone seemed to be lamenting bitterly, really wanting to be in my place. It's just that they didn't know. I deliberately played it like this, because I needed to slowly hone my defense skills. Only by training my defense skills to a god-tier realm would I have a chance to slay the world-destroying entity. At the same time, my teammates couldn't engage in combat. Once they engaged in combat, they would be completely crippled. Their innate ability was for ranged attacks and support, especially Huangfu Haitang. She absolutely had to use her sword manipulation art to attack. Only then would her sword manipulation art become powerful. becoming an existence that surpasses SG talent. And during the 15-minute battle, although he sustained some injuries, his basic defense art had already upgraded from LV1 to LV. Super comprehension is truly powerful, and the basic defense art doesn't necessarily require me to tank it head-on with my body. Blocking it with a shield also counts. Not to mention, shield defense is inherently considered defense. Even if we just consider that after the shield blocks it, that force would still appear in his hand, caused me a certain amount of minor damage. Naturally, it can improve basic defense techniques, and my basic offense skill also increased to LV7. Because my attack frequency is higher than my defense frequency. It's just that the damage isn't high. But this doesn't hinder skill improvement. At the same time, dog training skill is also improving. Although Ba Xiaohe was only slightly trembling on the side, without attacking, it still counted as using dog training skill. In the early stages, these skills are easy to level up, especially since he also has a super form. Let's continue on. Confrontation. Commencing, facing my 3 fully healthy teammates. I started on the next objective. At this moment, almost everyone thought my next target might be other exotic beasts, that I wouldn't find them. Don't be fooled by how close those few level 1 exotic beasts are. But in this wild forest, it's very difficult to find them. And because of this, Wang Ergu's team was still frantically rushing at this time, preparing to snatch the kill. Such a self-serving act that harms others. How could they not do it? They would arrive in just 10 more minutes and could kill those few level 1 exotic beasts. But to their surprise, I actually got lucky again and found their recent target, the level 1 exotic beast king, Ling Feng. Another quick kill. Begonia's flying sword was unsheathed. The Vajra sword was flying in the air. Lemon gave me a thorn tree buff. Lu Xiangyun again began setting up traps that everyone thought were useless. I continued to charge forward and kill. A new round of skill growth. I felt my combat ability was clearly stronger than before. Now I'm just pulling one exotic beast. When I become stronger, I'm going to pull a whole group. Let a group of exotic beasts attack me, so my defense skills will improve crazily. Now, I have a question. If defense skills become too powerful and become immune to attacks, will defense skills still improve? This is a question worth studying. Still 15 minutes. It took all 4 of us to kill this monster. This is mainly because I was improving my defense. My attack power didn't increase much, so the damage I took was just reduced. The time spent killing monsters didn't shorten because of this, and I even deliberately lowered my attack speed to let the other 3 girls deal more damage, so they would gain just a little more energy. Why are we watching a few useless people kill monsters? Is it interesting? At this moment, those watching the live stream no longer had any desire to keep watching. Although our team is useless, for now, we can stay alive. So, what's the point of watching? A team like mine is only interesting at the moment we get killed. Otherwise, forget it. Especially this torturously slow monster killing. That Wang Ergu also wanted to go snatch monsters. But on the way, he encountered 3 level 5 beasts. He was almost killed. Compared to our team's sheer luck, they were simply plagued by bad luck. Although they were very unlucky, because of this, they also leveled up once. In terms of leveling up, they were far ahead of Wang Linzhong. Enough about that. Guess what? Can Wang Lingfeng find the next level 1 monster? The people who stayed to watch the live stream now are only interested in this. In the drone footage, I'm about to encounter the next level 1 monster. This luck is truly enviable. Next, I even killed the 4th and 5th ones, and then successfully leveled up. This start is too smooth. If this continues, although our team won't be able to complete the mission, surviving won't be a problem. As long as we survive for 3 months, we can still come back. But after returning, well, still need to continue killing monsters in the wilderness, or join other positions. The latter requires competing with others for a spot. This is something none of the 4 of them are likely to achieve. But, as long as you get through the initial stage, the rest will be much simpler. For those with F-grade talent, the hardest part is the beginning. It's unclear if this is a test. Those below level 10 can only rely on themselves. Even for killing monsters, you must rely on yourself. You cannot let others help. At most, they can clear threats or save you when you're in danger. It's not direct assistance, killing monsters. If the target is touched by someone above level 10, then no energy points will be gained. By the way, after reaching level 10, if someone 10 levels higher than you participates in the battle, you still won't gain energy points. The difference between the two is that one is a person 10 levels higher than oneself, while the other is a person simply above level 10. Since the awakening time is fixed annually, to remain below level 10 for a year is almost impossible and not very meaningful. Therefore, those who have just awakened all rely on themselves to undergo a major life test. This also happens to test a person's survival ability. If they can't even pass this stage, they will be a burden in the future. Because the boys of this level, so the 3 girls in my team, all excitedly hugged each other. Eve leveled up. I actually leveled up to level 2. I didn't expect we could still pull through. Too bad I didn't comprehend a new skill. Don't overthink it. Do you think skills are so easy to comprehend? Those who can comprehend skills before level 5 all have A-grade talent. An F-grade really wants to. That's also too much, so let's continue. I wonder if we can continue to be lucky. Wang Lingfeng. Are we going to do the same as before later? Should we go up and slash a few times? Lemon and Lu Xiangyun looked at Wang Lingfeng at this moment. Now that they've leveled up, their strength has doubled. You don't need to come up and slash. It won't help. Let's leave it at that. I naturally refused. I mainly wanted to train defensive skills. Moreover, their attack power was so low, it was negligible. If you do that, it will make us seem useless. You can still use Thorn Art. I really am of no use at all. And I even took up everyone's energy points. Lu Xiangyun also spoke up. Felt very ashamed, but he seemed more afraid that I would give up because of it. His shame was much less than Lemon's. It's fine. Don't we have Kuihua now? Once he levels up, his attack power will increase. Now all 3 of them call Huang Bohaitang Kuihua. The other party was quite magnanimous. Didn't mind at all. Precisely because they didn't mind. That's why I would call out. Otherwise it would seem too mundane. In the future, I still need the help of this expert who knows encounter sword art. Let's rest for a bit. Well, go kill a level 2 creature. I sat down cross-legged, began to meditate and circulate qi, slowly recovering stamina and vital energy. Of course, this recovery of stamina and vital energy isn't that fast, but it still helps, and I have a premonition. As long as I persevere, I can comprehend it into a skill, which can quickly restore various states, and might even truly allow cultivation. And right at this moment, a person suddenly appeared. You want level 2? Just because you want level 2? Who do you think you are? This time, being able to find a level 1 exotic beast was pure dumb luck. Wang Ergu finally arrived, and he had already leveled up to level 4 along the way. It was clearly the same path. I came through without any incidents. While they faced difficulties and dangers, they killed dozens of exotic beasts above level 5. Yet, not a single one was below level 5. They were all injured. They thought more than once. If we 4 had encountered this, we would surely die. But why didn't they encounter it? I did not speak. I need to meditate to recover my state. This is much more important than wasting words with these people. For the next few minutes, there were only provocations from Wang Ergu and Li Qiang. Seeing my completely unmoving state, they really wanted to rush over and hit me. If it weren't for the drone live streaming, they would have already done so. Even if there were no drone live streaming, they would have killed me. This suddenly had a feeling of lifting a rock only to drop it on one's own foot. However, they don't want to kill me immediately now. They still want to play with me. After all, I'm too weak. Especially seeing that I'm only level 2 right now. An SSS rank talent is nothing special. This was the thought in everyone's mind. This thought made them feel very pleased. My current performance made people feel that I posed no threat whatsoever. They could kill me at any time. Since that's the case, let's play a bit longer. This wasn't just Wang Ergu's idea. Wang Teng felt the same way. Let Wang Ergu slowly torment Wang Ergu. How about this? There are 2 paths ahead. Each of us chooses one. You get to choose first. I stood up after a while. pointing at the two paths ahead. One goes up, one goes down. My action left people a bit stunned. They quickly understood my meaning. Was it luck or something else? This time, instant discount sharing, because Wang Ergu was the one who chose first. No matter what I encountered next, it would be after Wang Ergu had made his choice. This would truly depend on luck. And if I were still so lucky this time, then it could only be said that Wang Ergu truly had no luck at all. He couldn't blame anyone else. If it really turned out to be the same result again, that would feel a bit like killing someone's spirit. I chose the upward path. Wang Ergu didn't hesitate at all, because he could observe the situation through the drone. The path below had many hidden dangers. A move, absolutely. No second-level move, and although there was no second-tier advantage above, it suited their team. He knew I chose the path below. It would surely be fraught with peril. And the audience, the teachers and students watching the live broadcast, also knew this. Some hoped something would happen to me, but others criticized Wang Ergu for going too far. But whatever they said was useless. The four of us were already heading downwards. Lin Feng, are you sure it's safe down there? Haitang asked, from the side. Since there were no outsiders, and it wasn't anything shameful to say, she asked directly. I don't know. I just wanted to shake off that Wang Ergu. Wang Lingfeng replied casually. The three girls looked confused. Wang Ergu also felt confused. Wang Ergu was currently watching me via drone, and the drone's audio reception was very strong now. It could pick up sound from a great distance, so everyone could hear what was being said. What do you mean? Ningmeng tilted her head slightly, her expression blank. It's exactly what it means. Literally. I'm afraid hell follow me. Who knows if hell have designs on you? You're so cute. We just need to choose one of two. Let him choose a path and go first. We can take the other path and separate from him, so you don't have to see his disgusting face. Now, everyone understood. It turns out I never intended to kill him or crush his spirit. It was merely to shake off a disgusting person. After hearing my words, Wang Ergu wanted to rush over and kill me, regardless of whether the drone recorded it. Calm down. Calm down. Down there, it's a path to certain death for him. Let's focus on our upgrade mission first. Although our leveling up was fast today, we also consumed quite a lot of resources. We need to consider heading back. Li Qiang and his teammates held Wang Ergu back. None of them took me seriously, and believed I would most likely die down there. At this moment, Wang Ergu's team immediately fell into battle. This time, it was surprisingly level 5 to 6, mutated beasts appearing simultaneously. Not to mention my team. Even they would have to pay a price. Although they were already level 4, they were insufficient in both numbers and levels. The only good thing was that they still had some items. They threw high explosive bombs, first stopping a few mutated beasts from approaching. They focused on killing the most dangerous one in the fight. As their battle began, I also encountered mutated beasts on my side. But this mutated beast was a lone one, and it was injured. Although this mutated beast was already level 5, being injured made it comparable to a level 2 mutated beast. What kind of damn luck is this? Wang Ergu was about to cry himself unconscious in the toilet. That's right. If Wang Ergu had time to look at this moment, he would definitely faint. And this was just the beginning. Next, my team was steadily grinding, step by step. Although their leveling was very slow, it was stable. If everyone could be like them, then Wuxia would see a batch of solid cornerstones emerge. This would change the situation in Wuxia. More territory could be expanded, more resources obtained. More resources meant more population. More population meant stronger power. However, this situation was probably unique to me, and such a cornerstone couldn't really affect anything. In fact, these things only have an effect when there are many of them. Although I was lucky, my leveling speed was too slow. Fewer and fewer people paid attention. Even Wang Ergu eventually stopped paying attention. That was after Wang Ergu and his team went to do their mission and retrieved their drone. The live broadcast was thus cut off. Everyone thought my team was just lucky, but there was nothing surprising about it. A month later, everyone seemed to have forgotten about the four of us, and also forgotten about me, an SS rank, unclassed individual. People are just so forgetful. Don't even talk about a month's time. Even 7 days is enough to forget the hottest topics, especially when other hot topics emerge. If we're talking about the hot events of this past month, there really were quite a few. In the modder, these include Wang Teng comprehending the monk, skill and thunder fist. One punch sent out sparks and lightning. It's a pity that if his virginity hadn't been broken, a few punches would have been enough to kill a group of one hands, and his leveling speed would have been even faster. He should have been the first high school senior in Linhai City to break through to level 10 this year. But now, that honor has been snatched away by someone else, and he entered level 10 more than 2 days later than others. By then, there were already many people at level 10. He couldn't even get into the top 10, while Liu Ruyan was among the top 10 and ranked relatively high. But most people haven't even reached level 10 yet. A month's time. It's not short, but it's definitely not long either. Wang Ergu is currently only level 9. Hez, working hard to break through, and he estimates that I will need 3 days to achieve this level. At the same time, quite a few people have died unexpectedly. There have already been over 50. On this day, Wang Ergu returned from completing a mission to resupply, and then he met Wang Teng. Wang Teng sent him a message, questioning him about when he would complete the mission. What? Wang Lingfeng isn't dead yet? Wang Ergu was somewhat incredulous at this moment. For this entire month, he couldn't find me. He almost forgot about this matter. He inwardly believed that I should have already died. My team couldn't possibly hold out here. Wang Teng, however, told him at this moment that I was still fine. At the same time, Wang Teng also told him that in the coming month, he must send me on my way. Wang Ergu checked everyone's status. He saw that my status was alive, and I still had 531 points. These points were the first among the living teams. The last place, the second to last place, had 1,010 points. From this, it's clear how slow is my team. Although this has always been scorned by others, the 4 of us didn't really mind. The thing is, at least they can still level up while alive. At this moment, the 4 of us were slumped together, leaning against each other. Around us lay the corpses of 5 long night wolves. One corpse still had 2 swords stuck in it. 8 black dogs were guarding us nearby. By now, these 8 little black dogs had already circled us several times. Their physiques were quite robust. If you told anyone these were puppies just over a month old, no one would likely believe it. And if someone were observing us, they would find that Huangpu Haitang and I were already level 8. Lemon and Lu Xiangyun were level 7. This was due to my SSS rank bonus. Huangpu Haitang, on the other hand, had the most attacks. Lemon had already leveled up to level 7 2 days prior, and Lu Xiangyun had just leveled up. At level 7, Lemon had comprehended the rejuvenation tree skill, which could help heal me. As a result, I could now withstand more attacks from exotic beasts. However, the 3 of them lacked any area of effect skills. Pulling even one more beast would be pointless suffering. So, usually when I spotted fewer than 3 exotic beasts, I would aggro all of them into battle. This was because it would allow him to be attacked one more time, allowing his defense skill to level up a bit faster. Over the past month, my basic defense art had already reached level 103. My defensive capabilities had greatly increased. I could withstand 3 exotic beasts, even without the rejuvenation tree skill. With the rejuvenation tree skill, I felt I could simultaneously withstand attacks from 5 exotic beasts. The 3 women hadn't believed this before, but now they did. Upon seeing these 5 long night wolves, Lemon was somewhat terrified, thinking this was finally their end. Unexpectedly, I was able to easily withstand them. This completely exceeded the defensive capabilities of a level 8 classed individual. Even though my positioning was very skillful at the time, trying my best to minimize damage, and I blocked every attack with my shield, I still shouldn't have been able to withstand 5 exotic beasts of the same level, and I had even lured these 5 exotic beasts into the trap Lu Xiangyun had set, caused damage to them. Finally, after a long battle, they were victorious. The 3 girls were now slumped on the ground, feeling a sense of surviving a disaster. Their expressions, as they looked at me at this moment, all seemed to light up, and at this moment, I was also very excited. Not because of the 3 girls' gazes, but because during the recent battle, he actually comprehended a new skill. What surprised me was This skill wasn't one he himself used, but sword control art. I comprehended a skill. I was stunned for a moment, only because this sentence wasn't spoken by him, but by Lu Xiangyun beside him. I couldn't possibly reveal that I had comprehended sword control art, because I didn't understand this matter myself. How could I learn someone else's talent? Could it be because this talent was actually just a skill? Even if it was a skill, how could I learn someone else's skill? Could it be that my super comprehension talent didn't require me to practice myself, and I only needed to watch others use it? Soon I understood. The celestial eye could only see certain fixed events that would occur. Some variables couldn't be seen. Or rather, the changes in variables were too numerous. The divine power required was too great. So, its changes were disabled by default. I understood this point, because when he looked into the future then, after he chose a profession, there would be many general paths. He didn't look at the details. Because of this, I had already consumed so many years of accumulated divine history. So it was fine not to look at the variables. After all, even if one looked, variables still existed. In fact, the celestial eye could only see things roughly in general terms. The general direction usually wouldn't be wrong. Details depended on time. In short, the closer it was, the more accurate. Of course, this might be due to insufficient cultivation. Later, when I get stronger, I might see more and more accurately. But now I know one thing for sure. Super comprehension only requires me to see something, to grasp it. And it's not limited to what happens around me. Even images and book records work. Let's continue killing monsters and try out the new skills. I stood up. The 7 and 2 Seth, the monster ones. Then I went to continue looking for a beast to kill. This was Xiangyun, comprehending a skill. Why is he so excited? Could it be that he likes Xiangyun? Haitang looked at my excitement and said directly. She didn't know why either, but in her heart, she felt a little uncomfortable. Haitang, what nonsense are you spouting? How could Wang Mingfeng like me? Lu Xiangyun's face flushed slightly. You're still joking around. Hurry and follow him. What if Lingfeng aggroes a few more monsters? Ningmeng only felt that the two of them were joking at this moment. Worried about my safety. Follow him and cast a rejuvenation art on me at any time. Soon, I found a level 7 exotic beast. At this point, my combat style came into play. Except for vital points, I always tanked the exotic beast's attacks head-on. I was even too lazy to use my shield. In my words, this was crushing them with sheer power. And also to make my defense skills level up faster. And make Ningmeng's rejuvenation art level up faster too. Healing skills require effective healing to increase their skill proficiency. And I also didn't conceal my desire to level up my defense skills. Anyway, others didn't know his purpose. At the same time, he always needed to find a direction to train in. Becoming a frontline tank was also a direction. Magic trap. Lu Xiangyun. At this moment, she created a magic trap on the ground. As long as an exotic beast enters it, an explosion will occur. This was the skill she had comprehended. From then on, she was also a damage-dealing backliner. I could pull the exotic beast onto the trap, and I didn't seem surprised by this at all, because the heavenly eye let me know that Lu Xiangyun wanted to take off. She would have to rely on comprehending magic traps. These magic traps could be pure magic, or they could be magic effects added to food. So Lu Xiangyun still needed to continue researching knowledge related to traps and integrate it into her magic traps. Now Lu Xiangyun understood why I made her read those trap-related books, made her learn various traps, and had her use traps for the past month. At this moment, she felt very grateful to me in her heart. Some emotions appeared in her heart, but not many. And when I saw the trap appear, I immediately lured the exotic beast over, and it exploded with a boom. The damage was considerable. The exotic beast's HP bar immediately dropped by 10%. And it also caused the exotic beast to suffer from hardened, fragrant cloud. So powerful, exclaimed Lemon from the side. This made Lu Xiangyun feel a little lightheaded. At this moment, I had an idea in my mind. I wonder if Lu Xiangyun's magic trap could be learned. Just imagine myself in the future, pulling a group of exotic beasts with magic traps appearing one after another under my feet. Boom, boom, boom. Just thinking about it felt so satisfying. However, at this moment, what he cared about was still the encounter skill proficiency increasing by 100. The encounter skill level increased. The encounter skill proficiency increased by 100. And the encounter skill level increased. So it turns out that watching others use skills can really increase skill proficiency. In the future, it seems I'll need to party up. I can comprehend others' skills, and even have others help me train my skill proficiency. By then, others' proficiency will increase by 1 plus 1, while mine will increase by 100 plus 100. If others knew, would they get angry? Just for this reason alone, the fact that I can learn others' skills must absolutely not be revealed. Unless absolutely necessary, I will never use them in front of others. I am just a monster tanking MT. After killing monsters, I'll grill some meat. I threw hundreds of caddies of roasted exotic beast meat aside, letting 8 black hounds feed. Under the influence of the dog training skill, these 8 black hounds, unless I command them, they would rather starve to death than eat anything else. Unless it's an emergency. My dog training skill has now reached level 300. It's the fastest progressing skill, far ahead of others. Firstly, because there are many dogs. Secondly, this skill is the simplest and easiest to level up. The proficiency required for dog training skill upgrades in the later stages is less than 1/10 of that for basic defense. However, the reason I could level up over 100 levels so quickly was still due to the 0% from super comprehension. For basic defense at level 50, others need to withstand 10,000 attacks. I only need 100 times. The effect of dog training at level 300 also made my dogs grow exceptionally strong. Their combat power is extraordinarily fierce. Their ability to track and find prey is also extraordinary. In the previous battle with the 5 mission wolves, the dogs played a huge role. They managed to hold back 2 wolves. As expected, basic meditation is the hardest to level up. It only gains a little proficiency after an hour of accumulation. Currently, those who have trained basic meditation to the highest level haven't exceeded level 50. It can be said that my level 39 is already quite formidable. My spiritual power is already very strong. Unfortunately, I am classless. Yes, for others, a classless person. What's the point of having such strong spiritual power? There are no skills to use it with. This was indeed true for my past self. But now, I have sword control. This skill requires spiritual power to use. With sword control, wouldn't it be unbearable to see others use it, while I don't? Of course it would. So, at 2 a.m., I secretly went out, prepared to find an exotic beast to practice sword control. I am now fully capable of soloing exotic beasts of the same level. This is beyond doubt. It's just that I deliberately made the 3 women feel that I needed them very much. Without them, I wouldn't be able to kill those exotic beasts. To get away from the 3 women, I deliberately went a bit further to a valley. I never would have thought that in this remote mountain valley, I would actually stumble upon a dirty deal, which almost pushed me into a desperate situation. It was when I was in the valley, in the midst of an encounter, when splashes began to swirl around me. Suddenly, a figure descended from the sky. The figure's landing split the ground. I gazed with both eyes, only to see, under the moonlight, stood a maiden, clad in pure white. White clothes, white hair, white tail. Behind this maiden, there was actually a white, fluffy tail. Half-beastmen, a vile mongrel. Half-beastmen are a genetic technology from the beautiful country, combining the genes of exotic beasts and humans to create half-human, half-beast beings. This half-beastman maiden before me must have come here to meet with such people. This made me a bit curious. At the same time, I concealed myself. Luckily, to secretly use my sword control art, I had deliberately hidden myself. Even my dog was left outside to patrol, and my current location was on the periphery. Absolutely invisible. Unfortunately, I hadn't learned any stealth skills. Otherwise, the chance of being discovered would be even lower. At this moment, I had already put away my flying sword, lowered my breathing, trying my best to blend into this world. Although I had no stealth skills, I understood the Taoist methods of blending into this heaven and earth. Wasn't this precisely what Taoists often did? I couldn't achieve it perfectly, but doing it partially was enough. Not long after, another figure appeared. However, what concerned me more at this moment was that the person who appeared before me was someone I knew. Wasn't this Wang Teng's mother? I hadn't expected her to be not only malicious, but also a traitorous lackey. But soon, their conversation turned into Japanese. Fortunately, my wristband had a built-in translation function, which translated their conversation. It turns out Wang Teng's mother was originally Japanese. She was a Japanese person, a vessel that had infiltrated wuxia. There are many others like her. If that's the case, Wang Teng is actually a little bastard. No wonder he's so annoying. It turns out it's because he's a Japanese little bastard. And the reason they met here was to hand over an item. That was the genes of the frost dragon that died in that giant creature outside the city. The genes on the remains outside weren't very complete. They were useless to Japan. So they wanted complete genes, preferably from vital parts. And the Wang family just happened to have this item. The Wang family's ancestors had also participated in exterminating the frost dragon. Therefore, the Wang family had a golden box of frost dragon blood. Actually, this wasn't considered much at the time, but currently, only the Wang family has it. At the same time, no one cared about this matter. Dr. Wu only had a need for it after recent research. Otherwise, it would have been taken long ago. Here is what I'm giving you. Where's what I want? Watching Wang Teng's mother hand a box to that half-beastman girl. After the half-beastman girl received the box, she also presented a box. I didn't know what it contained. Neither of them mentioned it. However, I could see with my heavenly eye that inside was a colorless and odorless agent. It was a slow-acting poison. It's a new product from our country's laboratory. Currently, its source cannot be traced. This woman wants to poison the entire Wang family to death, and then let Wang Teng inherit the family business, with her acting as temporary manager. I had no intention of stopping this. Even if I told them, the Wang family might not believe it. It would also bring danger to myself. Whoever wants to bother with the Wang families, lives and deaths can go ahead. However, regarding the other box, that's where the problem lies. After this box is taken back, it will allow Dr. Wu to create powerful corrupted beastmen. That will be 10 years from now. Forget about it. In 10 years, it'll be too late for anything. If that's the case, you two devils, get lost quickly. Don't get in the way of me practicing my sword. That's my current thought. Because the two of them meeting doesn't seem to affect me at all. At most, it would expose the identity of Wang Teng's mother. We'll have to wait until he's dealt with the other members of the Wang family before we talk about it. Oh right. I have something good for you. Your son happens to have a need for it, for use at this time. That demi-human girl then took out a crystal ornament. It was 20 centimeters long. The front part was a long blue crystal. The back part was a metal-wrapped handle. This is a secret realm key. The location of the secret realm is on it. It's located just a few tens of kilometers from here. This secret realm is only level 10 to 20. There's no use for us to go in. Consider it a favor of convenience for you. After speaking, the demi-human girl left. The way she leaped up was just like a wolf of the moonlit night. Her tail also greatly resembled a dog's tail. Could she be a canine beastkin? After a while, Wang Teng's mother also left me. At this moment, I had no intention of leaving, because I knew the other party was still watching nearby. So I simply sat in meditation, blending into this environment. It's unknown how much time passed. I sensed that the person had already left. I then began to perform imperial swordplay here. Its proficiency was rapidly increasing. Imperial swordplay. It doesn't require attacking enemies to improve imperial swordplay. As long as one is using imperial swordplay, and it's a sword, that's enough. Suddenly, I thought of a way to use imperial swordplay myself, without being noticed by others. That would be to find some small swords and use them for imperial swordplay. Throw them out without changing their trajectory, only accelerating them mid-flight. Then wouldn't anyone be able to detect it? I have Little Li's flying dagger. Now, it's Little Wang's flying sword. By me. Using imperial swordplay, I again sliced through a few leaves in the air. When I had played enough, I prepared to return. Not long after I left, several people appeared and surrounded me. Was I discovered by those two women? If so, then I'm completely done for. because judging from their strength just now, they would far surpass me by a huge margin. However, in fact, it wasn't so. These people had nothing to do with the two women from before. If I had to say there was a connection, then it actually had some connection with Wang Teng, because the four people were Wang Ergu and his three companions. This Wang Ergu deliberately detoured to this place to see if I was nearby, because my mission was right here. As a result, his luck was just that good, and he discovered me. And upon realizing they had merely found me by chance, I somewhat regretted why I came out so early. I clearly hadn't had enough fun yet. Meeting you is truly too lucky. For you, that's misfortune. You're about to die. Let me see. You're actually still at level 8. Haha, too weak. So late. And you still dare to come out alone looking for death? Then well, grant your wish. Wang Ergu and the other three laughed. Since we've encountered such a great opportunity, then just killing me is, of course, no longer interesting. Wang Teng now has no pleasure in torturing me. Of course, if Wang Ergu, before killing, could also perform a torture, the drone is about to start recording. But don't live stream it. Don't let it spread. Wang Ergu drew his knife. His three teammates nearby also successively drew their weapons. This time, it seems I can't escape even with wings. I looked at the four people with drawn blades facing me. They did not surround me, nor did they intend to maneuver into position. They had purely just drawn their weapons. I understood what this meant, because the four people opposite me simply didn't think I could escape. In their eyes, I was only level 8 and unclassed. Whether in terms of level or class, I was at a disadvantage, and my talent wasn't for increasing damage. Even if I trained my basic skills to over level 100, they wouldn't be afraid, because the bonuses provided by basic skills weren't significant. They certainly weren't as good as their class skills. This is also why the unclassed are looked down upon. Too weak. But the world did not know. When any skill reached a certain level, a qualitative change would occur. But this level required a genius to achieve, because ordinary people practice their whole lives. At most, they can only train a skill to level 400, and the level for qualitative change requires at least level 600 or higher. Even elites cannot achieve it. However, this is not what I am concerned about right now. I now took out my shield and said to Wang Ergu, "If you're a man, let's have a one-on-one fight. If you're not, then pretend I didn't say anything." These words contained obvious provocation, traces of a taunt. It was too blatant. Haha. Although I know you're trying to provoke me. But even so, what of it? Just you, an unclassed person. I'll let you see the unbridgeable gap between us. Wang Ergu smiled. He walked up alone. Petty cleverness is petty cleverness after all. Ultimately, strength speaks for itself. I also knew the opponent's thoughts, which is why I deliberately said that. What I wanted was for the opponent to come out for a one-on-one, to deal with them one by one. Otherwise, me against 4 would be too dangerous. Wang Ergu was actually a mage. Otherwise, he wouldn't be carrying a mage's skill book. He used a knife, because he didn't have a suitable weapon. In the early stages, knife attacks also dealt high damage. At this moment, Wang Ergu raised a fireball in his hand. He had already learned the fireball spell. He could launch 1 fireball per second, and the fireball spell could also be charged before launching. In that case, its power would more than double. The first shot would definitely be a charged one. The fireball shot out and flew directly towards me. I blocked it with my shield. At this moment, the fireball exploded in front of me. This power, a level 7 unclassed person would definitely be blown away, losing half their life. Sure enough, I was sent flying. I landed heavily on the ground. Then I immediately struggled to crawl forward. Haha, truly trash. I just used a fireball spell to deal with him. Wang Ergu burst out laughing. Then he walked over, ready to step on me. At this moment, Wang Ergu and his 3 companions had not considered that I was pretending, because normally, I should have been sent flying. Just now, Wang Ergu, in order to kill with 1 blow, secretly used an amplification crystal. This is one of the materials dropped by the Yi Beast. After the Yi Beast absorbs energy from a certain space-time, it will transform the energy into crystals, thus forming something similar to a crystal composite. That kind of crystal composite has many uses. One of them is to amplify magic attacks. That amplification just now was equivalent to the full power of Wang Ergus' charged attack. It was like I was hit by 4 devastating blows at once. Given my strength as an unclassed level 8, it was perfectly reasonable for such a result to occur from that blow. However, just as Wang Ergu raised his foot to step down, I suddenly moved, the sword in my hand, with extreme precision, thrust towards Wang Ergus' lower body. Coincidentally, it was that vital spot. Wang Ergu suddenly recalled the fear of being controlled by the 8 little blacks, and the fear that came with it. But this time, he had no chance to continue being afraid, because my sword directly pierced his vulnerable part. It pierced into his body. After all, humans are humans. If stabbed in a vital spot, they would still die. At least, in the early stages. Without strong recovery abilities, it's fatal. At this moment, unless there was a powerful healing class or item present, otherwise, he would surely die. Quick! Save me! Wang Ergu used an urgent healing item on himself, but it was completely useless, and he placed his hope on his 3 teammates. But it was obvious his 3 teammates did not have this ability, and this incident had also made them, suddenly, a bit flustered. Just as they were in a panic, they saw by their side, several dark figures suddenly darted out. Those were the dogs. They had already quietly snuck into the vicinity, although their stealth skills weren't particularly good. But because I had just drawn their attention, they still managed to arrive smoothly. However, even though the dogs were fierce, their opponents were professionals, and their levels were all at level 9. Trying to use the dogs to deal with the 3 of them seemed like wishful thinking. As expected, Li Qiang and the 2 others, after being attacked, also immediately reacted. They began to counterattack. I wasn't surprised by this, because his dogs were merely trained using dog training techniques and hadn't yet transcended the capabilities of wild beasts. It was troubling. 8 dogs ganging up could only stall them. Among them, Li Qiang was a warrior and received very little damage. He brought his blade down hard on one of the dogs. The dog instantly backed away, but was still cut by the blade, leaving a wound. The other 2 also reacted and slashed with their blades. They also used some potions to recover, and then activated their respective skills. One of them was an archer, but was nimble, and could even engage in close combat with a dagger. With his dagger, several dogs had already sustained multiple cuts, but the damage wasn't as severe as Li Qiang's blade. I believe if this continues, all 8 dogs would be killed outright. But would I really let the dogs go to their deaths like this? Or was it that he was preparing to use the dogs to attract the opponent's attention and then escape himself? The latter was clearly impossible, because even though Li Qiang and the 2 others were stalled by the dogs, their attention was on me, especially with the drone aimed directly at me. There was basically no way to escape. Therefore, I wasn't going to run, but rather, sword manipulation art. As the dogs pounced on the archer, a sword flew out from beneath the dogs and shot directly towards the archer's heart. The archer had absolutely not expected there to be a sword here, and by the time he realized it, he just made a move against dog. There was no opportunity to take a risk. This was executed with extreme precision. The archer was instantly pierced through the heart. Due to the angle, Li Qiang and the remaining person did not notice. They merely found it strange why the archer suddenly stopped, and next, the archer fell down. This instantly made Li Qiang and the other person's eyes widen. Suspecting there was an expert helping nearby, they would absolutely not have guessed it was me, because at this moment, I was standing on the other side. At the same time, I couldn't possibly have this ability. Just as they were shocked, while they were searching for the expert, dog began to attack the 2 of them again. Then, my sword manipulation art launched another sneak attack from the shadows. Li Qiang was the last to fall. He was still asking as he fell, who exactly was in the shadows? They never thought it was me from beginning to end, because that was an impossible thing. But in the end, he saw a flying sword, flying to my side, and spinning by my side. Even then, he still didn't suspect me, because his brain wasn't working well enough. Cleaning up the battlefield, I looted the opponent's belongings. Then I left with dog. I did not go and bury these 4 people. I'm responsible for killing, not for burying. These 4 people are very soon they will be eaten by the nearby monstrous beasts. Lin Feng. Classmate. Where did you just go? I went to the toilet. Why do you men always take so long to go to the toilet? Each of you just squats in the toilet and doesn't come out. But you're still the most impressive. You can even squat for so long outdoors. No. 22 Junior. Battle Operations Command Room. The sentry captain came over for his morning shift after breakfast. He had just brewed a pot of tea when he noticed that the original 8 teams on the screen, now 1 more had gone offline. How are the newcomers this time so weak? Another team died. Out of 8 teams, 3 have already died. What's interesting is that the weakest one has stayed alive, and their mission was still the most formidable. But they actually managed to stay alive out there all this time. And they were constantly killing monsters. Although leveling up was a bit slow, the captain also paid close attention to my team. After all, they only had these 8 teams. Now there were only 5 left. It would be hard not to care. He had thought before. My team would either die out there or hide and not come out to fight enemies. This way, they could actually tough it out too. But if the latter managed to tough it out, afterwards, they could only engage in those dangerous jobs and basically work in the wilderness. But what he didn't expect was, they actually survived for a month and had been continuously killing to gain resources. Captain, the 8th team is back. They completed the mission? What? Just as the captain was thinking about my team, unexpectedly, a subordinate reported my situation. The 8th team was what they called my team. If that's the case, they should be at least level 8. Not bad. Everything is hard at the beginning. Later, give them some simple tasks to help them survive. The captain understood what completing this mission meant. At worst, in the worst-case scenario, 5 teams would need to reach level 8. Generally speaking, level 10 was the most reliable. Their 2 level 8 seconds and 2 level 7 seconds were all in good condition. He didn't expect that without supplies. Their condition would still be so good. Where are they now? Do they need to rest for a few days at the base? The captain asked. Normally, after completing a mission and returning to the base, they would definitely need to rest for a few days. This was very important. Without potions and such, survival in the wilderness was quite difficult, unless you could avoid all accidental injuries. But very few people could do that. Many times, just a small accident would occur, and they would have to go back. If the mission wasn't completed, they couldn't go back. Actually, if something truly unexpected happened, then it's better to go back. Generally, they wouldn't make things difficult. They would turn a blind eye and offer help. However, doing so would count as a mission failure. At that point, there would be punishments and point deductions. They left. They said they had no time to go practice doing missions. They seemed to want to achieve good results. The captain was a bit bewildered when he heard this. For their team, just surviving would be good enough. What results could they possibly achieve? They must be overthinking. Right? Forget it. It's their business. No need to interfere. The captain hadn't really paid attention to this. But then, one of his subordinates spoke again. This time, apart from restocking some red and blue potions, other emergency potions, he didn't bring a single one. And detection equipment like drones, he still didn't bring any. Is this kid really just relying on luck to get by? The captain suddenly recalled some comments from the internet, saying, I rely entirely on luck to get by. If his luck were even slightly bad, he would be doomed forever. For now, it's just good luck. Just wait. Something will definitely happen to him. Yes, these were the exact words of many people online, believing that my luck couldn't stay good forever. There's also one more thing. This time, I also custom-ordered 8 dog backpacks. All of them can be carried by the dogs. I have to say, dog training skills, putting aside their combat utility, are also excellent, just for their backpack function. You know, when hunting out in the wild, many resources are wasted because they cannot be carried back. They are just wasted like that. The most regrettable among them is the lean meat. That was wasted the most. This also benefited my dogs. They can eat meat as much as they want, without increasing costs at all. And because of this, they all grew incredibly fast. 1 month for them is equivalent to several months for other dogs. Their size can even surpass that of an adult husky. At this moment, at the 48th Youth Battle, Wang Teng and Lu Ruyan were also paying attention. However, this was merely incidental. Because they were resting, they only started paying attention after hearing others mention it. This good-for-nothing can actually still be alive. And he even completed his first mission. Instead, Wang Ergu, that good-for-nothing, died. When Wang Teng heard the news, he couldn't help but feel a little depressed. But I quickly noticed that my level had updated, while he was still only level 8. Ruyan, luckily you left that good-for-nothing early. Has only level 8. We are all already level 13. You don't need to tell me about him. He and I are already in 2 different worlds. You don't need to care either. Don't lower your own status, Liu Ruyan said coldly. She also looked down on Wang Teng beside her a little now. Because he was merely a token. He was said to be level 13. But she had been level 13 for several days. Wang Teng had just entered. If this situation continued, the gap between Wang Teng and her would grow wider and wider. At that time, they wouldn't be able to form a team. It's not that they psychologically didn't want to team up, but in reality, if the level difference exceeded 10, they couldn't team up. Wang Teng also understood this point. He was also growing more and more worried about it, until his mother told him some good news. He obtained a secret realm key. This was a secret realm for levels 10 to 20. With this, he could catch up in levels. Originally, he still wanted to find Liu Ruyan to go together. But if Liu Ruyan went, how would he catch up? So, Wang Teng prepared to go alone. However, he wouldn't enter the secret realm alone. At that time, his mother would choose a few people to team up with him. Those people were all his mother's people. This would have to wait until this round of wilderness survival ended, although he had only been level 13 for just over a month. But, wanting to reach level 20, it was basically impossible to complete it in the remaining month or so. Now, it took 7 or 8 days just to level up once, and it would take longer and longer later on. It was estimated that by the end of the 3-month wilderness training, he would at most be level 18. At that time, it would be just right to go to the 10 to 20 level secret realm. After the training ended, there would still be a month for recuperation. Only then can they participate in the next round of the Gaokao trial. This 1-month period is prepared for those who were injured, to ensure everyone is in the best possible state. So, he can use this 1-month period to go to a secret realm. His power will definitely astound everyone by then. He will make everyone who looked down on him and mocked him drop their jaws in shock. As for Liu Ruyan, he will make her kneel and gaze up at him. Thinking of this, he felt great. Wang Teng, what are you thinking about? You're even drooling. Nothing. I was thinking about Wang Lingfeng. The people nearby instantly gasped. All the men started to keep a certain distance from Wang Teng. Don't overthink it. I was just thinking, given that good-for-nothing's training speed, how much more can he level up in the remaining days? Does that even need asking? At most, level 15. No. With his speed, level 13 at most. What if? I'm just saying if Wang Lingfeng survives to the end, will he actually continue the Gaokao trial? Over. Another month passed. Only half a month of time remained. At this moment, everyone was tallying points and casualties. This time, the high school seniors from Linhai City, the number of people undergoing trials outside was 8,000. Besides Linhai Middle School, there were also many other high schools. In fact, the current high school seniors are equivalent to the birth population of that year. Very few people are lost in between. After all, before awakening, everyone could potentially be an SSS rank treasure. Getting back to the main topic. Now, out of 8,000 people, over 2,000 have already met with accidents. This is a brutal elimination. However, generally speaking, as long as one worked hard enough in the previous 12 years and wasn't too foolish, they wouldn't be eliminated. Some people simply live too comfortably. That's acceptable in peaceful times. But in times like these, their existence isn't just a waste of resources. It will also affect the survival of others. They might even hold others back, dragging others to their deaths. There were once several cities in wuxia that were destroyed because of this. Now they've become havens for variant beasts, as well as those scripts in Japan and Korea, where people pretend to be beastmen. One of the iron rules of chaotic times: first eliminate the holy tomb, The emergence of some cruel rules must have come from bloody lessons. Look, it's still my team at the very end. Their levels were just updated. The lowest is surprisingly still at level 11. It seems even saying level 13 before was too generous. This means they're a month behind the average. Other S ranks are at least level 13. Everyone saw my team's performance. Lowest points, lowest levels. But everyone found it very strange. My team's leveling speed seems too slow. Incredibly slow. Look at Liu Ruyan. She's already level 17 inches just 2 months. A difference of 6 levels. The gap will only widen in the future. As if Liu Ruyan is so amazing, she hasn't even entered the previous life realm yet. The strongest is still Du Gufeng, from Donghai Middle School. The S-rank talent assassin is already level 18. Hell reach level 19 inches half a month. But it's a pity. If only he could break through to level 20. The highest record is level 20 inches 3 months. Don't underestimate a mere 1 level difference. To gain this 1 level, an SSS rank takes 3 months. An S rank also needs over a month. Only SSS ranks have a chance. He can't do it. While everyone was discussing this, I was quickly forgotten. After all, no one pays attention to a good for nothing. When you watch a competition, do you really pay attention to the last place contestant? Another 7 days passed. There are only a little over 7 days left. Have you noticed? My team's points haven't budged these past few days. Could it be that they've completely given up? Just waiting for the trial to end. They really are. 7 days ago, I screenshotted their points, and they were 1,661. Now they're surprisingly still at 1,685 points. In these 7 days, they've only killed a few jade hands. If I were them, I would also give up. Anyway, they've completed several trial missions, which is already enough. From now on, they can just slowly kill monsters and level up nearby and gradually grow stronger. They can live out their humble lives. He really is a coward who fears death. No wonder. Despite his SSS rank talent back then, he chose to be classless. After that, there was another wave of criticism directed at me. Seeing the language used above, I couldn't help but admire the netizens. Their words were both skillful and pleasing to the ear. Another 3 days passed. There were less than 5 days left. By this time, the overall situation was basically decided. Many people by now had already returned to the youth camp to rest, especially those who had little hope of further leveling up, and whose rankings were far behind, had already given up. Anyway, they could go level up later. No rush. At this point, everyone thought my team should have returned as well. Anyway, they had given up long ago. But the result was unexpected. Wang Lingfeng and his 3 companions, surprisingly, still hadn't returned. At this moment, the 7th team returned to Youth Camp No. 22. And the captain was present. Go and take good care of them. It hasn't been easy for these kids. After saying that, the captain continued to bury himself in work. Of the 8 teams here, apart from the 3 that perished earlier, not much happened to the rest later on. After all, the most difficult part was the beginning. Actually, there were also accidents later on, but it wasn't an entire team being wiped out. Only 1 or 2 individuals were affected. Just like those who had just returned. They encountered an accident midway. However, this accident wasn't a death or an injury severe enough to be carried back. Fortunately, it wasn't a lifelong injury, and they could recover. On this day, 4 teams successively returned to Youth Camp No. 22. The next day, the remaining 2 teams also returned. Now, only the 8th team remained. It's strange why the 8th team hasn't returned yet. At this point, the captain was very puzzled. Newcomers who complete the mission can rest here for 3 days, and there was only 1 day left until the end of the trial. By rule, 3 days before the end, if they were at the youth camp, they wouldn't have to go out again. In other words, on the 6th to last day, they could just relax at the outpost. I originally thought the 8th team would be the first to return. Never expected them to be the last. But is there any point in them staying out there? They haven't really gained any points. They must be just barely surviving out there. The captain muttered to himself. Then he shook his head and continued working, not bothering with these matters. At this time, there were many suspicions like the captain's. Everyone couldn't understand why. I still hadn't returned to the outpost, but they were certain of one thing. That is, my team's points are still less than 1,700. We were still thinking before whether he would participate in the next round of the college entrance exam trial. Now, what needs to be considered is whether he can even qualify to go. Last year's elimination required 3,000 points. This year's and last year's scores are similar, so it should also be around 3,000 points. That means they need to gain 1,300 points in 3 days. If they had that ability, they wouldn't have less than 1,700 points right now. That's right. My team's points don't qualify for the next round of trials. And what was I doing at this time? I am currently being surrounded and attacked by a swarm of ant-like mutant beasts. Their sheer numbers were enough to make one's scalp tingle. But whether it was me, or Huangfu Haitang, and the 3 women, we were all very calm and cooperated skillfully. I was tanking the mutant beasts, while Huangfu Haitang met the attacks. Ning Meng was using the thorn tree and rejuvenation tree, while Lu Xiangyun set up traps, one by one. Lin Feng, a classmate. It's already been 3 days. Are we still killing these ants here? Although these ants are numerous, their level is low. Our points haven't increased much, nor has our energy value. Killing mutant beasts lower than one's own level reduces the proportion of points gained. This is why our team's points are barely moving. It's not that they aren't farming monsters, it's that the monster's level is too low. Yes, we've been killing them here for 20 days already. Shouldn't we be going? But our skills level up quickly this way, and there's no danger. Isn't this good? We're not taking the college entrance exam anyway, and there's no need to rush our leveling. Ning Meng, as always, was lying flat, feeling that this was already quite good. And what he said was actually the main point. I'm just grinding skills. Levels aren't important to him. If you want defense skills to level up quickly, you have to pull low-level ones like these. He had planned this out long ago. It's just that everyone was level 1 before. So where would low-level ones come from? Let's grind a bit longer. Then Brother Xia will take you all to the skies. I replied casually. This is a geomantic treasure land for grinding skills. We definitely need to keep grinding for another day. But there's no need to leave here. When the time comes, we'll flood the ant nest, and those high-level units and bear-like creatures will even appear later. Plus some of his previous arrangements, these points are going to soar. Let's not worry about that for now. How about we check the skill improvements instead? Basic defense skill proficiency increased by 100. Basic swordsmanship proficiency increased by 100. Foresight skill proficiency increased by 100. From my perspective, notifications of various skill proficiencies increasing were flooding the screen. Basic defense skill level increased. Current level, 500. Triggered super comprehension talent. Learned new skill. Basic body refinement technique. 1 day later, at the last moment I was preparing to finish grinding skills. That is also his basic defense. When the defense skill increased to level 500, he suddenly learned a new skill. 1. Basic body refinement technique. Not only does the defense skill reduce damage, it can also transform damage into an aid for tempering the body, enhancing one's physique. This skill didn't surprise me. Although he also hoped for such a skill, having read Xianxia novels, and also knowing Taoist Qi cultivation techniques. Of course, I've wanted to possess such a skill more than once. I just never expected it would actually appear. I suddenly have a bold conjecture. Could it be that I imagined a certain skill myself? Perhaps this skill would then manifest itself in a certain direction.